All right, welcome to Episode 3 of Hobby Quick Hits, our short form podcast. I'm John Newman. You may know me from Sports Card Nation. A couple quick announcements before we get into our topic of this podcast. We got a new show logo coming. You might have just heard if you listen to the podcast on a platform, you're going to hear a new intro that we put together, a new theme song, if you will. But that being said, let's get this show started. Real quick podcast. We talk a bit about lower end stuff, how to ship PWE, tips and tricks and techniques, and sometimes I think we neglect the higher end spectrum. I know it's not as prevalent as that low end mid tier, but we do need to talk about it. I've been selling in the card industry, whether it be at shows or mail order, since 1987 as a 15-year-old, and I've sold cards from a couple bucks all the way up to almost four figures. I've had four-figure sales, but with a combination of wax and cards and whatnot, but never an individual card yet for $1,000. Close, very close, a few times. So I'd say, with my sales, I sell probably a good 10 to 20 cards of what a year, what I would call high end. Now, everyone might have a different definition of high end and what it is. For me, anything that's over $100 an individual card kind of goes on to the next level as far as how I approach it and deal with it and take care of it. So we're going to talk about some tips and techniques and packaging when it comes to high-end cards for those that move them, even trading them. So let's talk about if you sell it on an auction platform, eBay, stuff where you're responsible for getting the card there. The first thing you want to do, honestly, when you make that card sale is check the buyer's feedback. If they have a low feedback, maybe as 1, 2, 3, and they're all positives but no negatives, maybe you reach out to them, tell them you're a little bit leery and touch base, feel them out, sort of thing. If you look at their feedback and they have numerous, their feedback's low, or they have a lot of negatives, a lot of reds, seller beware. That might be one where I don't advocate canceling auctions. I think it's not a good thing to do and not always very nice. But I think in that situation, with your high-end card, I might cancel that transaction, or again, reach out to the buyer and feel them out. Tell them, some of your thoughts and concerns, and see how they respond back to them. Remember, a lot of new policies with these card sale platforms. eBay, and I know a lot of the other ones are 180 days of a buyer can file a dispute. That's 6 months. 30 days a month times 6 is 180. That's half a year they have to say they don't want a card or something's wrong, or whatever the case may be. And let's be real, the eBay and platforms like that are more pro buyer than seller. They ain't gonna like me saying that, but that is what it is. If you don't like it, eBay, fix some of the issues. You've made it very easy for people to charge back stuff, and unfortunately, you have to be even more careful now because of that. So again, communication is key, especially with high-end cards. Reach out to the buyer, let them know any concerns you have. If you don't feel comfortable, or it doesn't feel right, or that buyer has negative feedback, while I don't condone canceling auctions, maybe you cancel that sale and live for another day, as they say. especially now with that 6 months return policy. If they pay via PayPal, so the sale's complete, they've paid via PayPal, which frankly uh, really would be the only form of a payment I would accept on a high end card. Um, Go to your PayPal account and make sure you're seller eligible. Make sure you're protected via PayPal too. Sometimes these unverified accounts will make these large purchases or high end cards, and they're not verified. I think they've gotten better at it recently, but if an unverified sale, you're not protected. You're at your own peril. You're proceeding at your own risk. And I've had a couple unverified sales where I wasn't seller eligible, and I canceled that transaction or reached out to the buyer and told them that they're going to have to get a verified account to make this purchase. And so don't hesitate to do that. This is your protection. If the sale is obviously on another platform, ComC, Sport Lots, although I don't know how much high end you got on Sport Lots, but even ComC, obviously they take care of all that. But again, the buyer can still, form, uh, file a dispute or a chargeback. And so just keep that in mind as well. So let's talk about, so you made the sale, you've got the funds. Let's forget about, complaints or chargeback filings. Let's talk about shipping and packaging. And I think the key here, folks, is over protect, over pack it. Okay, you don't want to leave anything to chance here. Um, Bubble wrap galore. Okay, I what I do if it's a single high end card, I'll put it in a bubble wrap sleeve. It's like a pouch that seals over, and then I'll put rubber bubble wrap around that bubble wrap pouch, and then inside a appropriate size bubble mailer. So it's bubble wrapped galore, threefold. The mailer itself, the in the pouch, and then the pouch itself is bubble wrap. Now, if it's a real high item and you want to offer priority shipping or pay for priority shipping, I recommend that too. The 2-day priority shipping from the United States Postal Service. I think it's 8 something now. It's in that small box, flat rate box. I think it's $8.30. Remember, if they've paid the freight on the shipping cost, shipping is what you do with it. If they've paid $8 to ship, use that. If you just want to do it yourself, depending on the item, that's your prerogative as well. Another huge thing here when it comes to shipping or mailing high-end cards or even lots out combo cards, insure for the complete amount of value. I can tell you, I had an acquaintance, a friend of mine who sells as well, and it was a $600 card. And he said, well, I didn't know about this till after the fact. He said, well, I'm shipping it priority. It comes with the $50 insurance. I'll add another $100. It's priority. It'll get there intact. I'm going to save $4 or $5 on insurance by sending it, 2-day priority with $150 insurance. 50 it comes with, and I'll add an additional 100, keep a $4 or $5 in my pocket, and no one's less for knowing. The buyer's not going to know it's only insured for $150. It's going to show insured. And so he mailed this high-end $500-$600 card with $150 insurance on it. And lo and behold, what happened? It got lost. Lost in the mail, never reached its destination. And obviously the buyer filed a claim for lack of delivery. And what happened? The post office paid for it. But what did they pay? The $150. And so he had to pay $450 out of his pocket to make up the $600 difference because he did not insure it for the full value of the package. And I'm not going to lie, I've done that in the past. Not that big of a discrepancy, but maybe it was a $300 sale and I insured it for $200. But I'm really telling you, be careful doing that. I don't recommend it. And the higher the value of either all the cards together or the one card high end itself, insure it for the full value. You just never know. Here, I just gave you an example where that package somehow got lost, damaged, whatever, never made it to its destination. The buyer filed a claim, as they should. You would too, especially with the $600 card. And the United States Postal Office made good. They paid what it was insured for, $150, and my friend had to come up with the difference to the buyer, and that's unfortunate. And and for what? To save $3, $4, $5. And like my friend said, he learned an expensive lesson. That lesson cost him $450. So he won't be doing that again, and I recommend none of us do that again. So always insure for complete value. Overprotect it. Bubble wrap. I've even sent one, maybe a thick card, even in a box, even not 2-day priority, but just in a box with peanuts or tons of bubble wrap just to protect it, just so nothing can happen. That, with all due respect, that most postal workers are great people, but there's always exceptions to that rule. They sometimes these things get thrown around, stepped on, thrown against the wall of a truck. You got to protect high-end stuff, high-end packages for delivery. And one thing in closing, still on the shipping front, signature confirmation. I know it costs, I think, $290 now. And someone said, with tracking, tracking shows it got to that mailbox or that P.O. box or that address. Tracking truthfully doesn't show that such and such a person honestly got it. You put it in the mailbox, they scan it, someone walks by the mailbox, pulls it out, that person could still say they never got it. And so with a high value card, truthfully, anything over $200 for me, I pay the $290 and I get signature confirmation. They have to sign for it. Sometimes they get mad because the postman won't leave it there without a signature, and they have to go to their post office. But it's for both of our. I tell them, it's for both of our protection. And remember, you set, especially on auction platforms like eBay, you set the shipping parameters. So if you've got a high-end card listed, set the shipping at $8 or $9 and build these costs all in. Signature confirmation, bubble wrap, priority, insurance. You can get an insurance chart and see what each level costs, and the signature confirmations, $2.90. Add these all up, and then when you list your item for auction or you sell it on any other platform where you have to be responsible for shipping, build that cost in so that the consumer, the buyer, is actually paying the freight. It's not coming out of your pocket. But that being said, have paid, someone's paid $7 insurance, let's say, or $7 shipping, and it's cost me to add all the features I want onto the shipping, whether it be signature confirmation or something else. It might have cost me $9.50, and so it cost me $2.50 more than I got. But that peace of mind, that protection for you, the seller, is worth way more than at $250. So I hope some of these tips and things I talked about on the show here might have helped you. When it comes to high end, we don't always talk about it. It's a small segment, truthfully, of the hobby in compares to mid tier and low tier. But as someone who's done it, truthfully, since 1987. I think it's something I wanted to do and I felt I had to do. So I hope you got something from the show. Give us a follow on any of our social medias at Twitter at Hits Hobby, HITS HOBBY, on Instagram at Quick Hits uh, uh, Hobby Quick Hits podcast at Instagram. And if you're seeing this on YouTube as a simulcast, like our YouTube channel here, which is Sports Card Nation. So again, we'll see you on episode 4 whenever that comes out. These are no set schedule. I appreciate everyone out there listening, and we'll see you next time. Take care.